In this video, we are going to take a look at an issue with the trail data from the U.S. Geological Survey, or USGS. We are in Colorado, and I have up on the screen the tiles from OpenStreetMap, which we'll use as a backdrop or reference. This is Argentine Pass. Argentine Peak is down here to the south. It's near the border between Summit County and Clear Creek County. I'm going to turn on the data from the USGS here. It'll show up in yellow with a green casing. Now the trail in question starts up here by Argentine Pass, goes over Argentine Peak, over Decatur Mountain, slightly north of Revenue Mountain, slightly south of Silver Mountain, before making this junction down here to the southwest. Now the USGS says that the name of this trail is the Continental Divide National Scenic Trail. Now they also say that this trail over here is the Continental Divide National Scenic Trail. Now, granted, sometimes these trail networks bifurcate for whatever reason to provide an alternate route, so this is in itself not evidence of an error. But let's take a look at the source for these two different trails. There is a field called source, ORIG, source origin perhaps, and this one over to the west is from the U.S. Forest Service. Interestingly, this one to the east, the source is Continental Divide Trail Coalition. So I find it kind of interesting that the USGS, part of the U.S. federal government, is sourcing its data not from the Forest Service, which would have jurisdiction here, but from a private foundation. So let's actually take a look at the data from the Forest Service. I downloaded this on October 1st of 2023. It shows up in red with a black casing, and you can see that it does not include this trail. So the Forest Service obviously does not consider it an official trail. Now let's go back to the actual source. Let's go to the Continental Divide Trail Foundation. This is their website, continentaldividetrail.org, and they have this interactive map. Right, it's not labeled, but right at that junction is Argentine Pass. There's Argentine Peak. This is Mountain Ridge or Divide here, Decatur Mountain, Revenue Mountain, Silver Mountain. So it does show the Continental Divide Trail going approximately along the alignment that the U.S. Forest Service has, and not along this alignment down here that at least part of the USGS data shows. So I think that's some pretty good evidence that even the Continental Divide Trail Coalition perhaps does not any longer consider that part of the trail. Okay, back to our map here. I've actually been up in this area hiking and trail running, and I can tell you that there is nothing that most people would consider a trail up here. Specifically, we summited Square Top Mountain, went to this point, north to Argentine Peak, back to this saddle, over to Mount Wilcox, and down to this lake to make a big loop. But let's see what everyone else is doing. This is the Strava heat map, and you can see that there is a bit of heat between Argentine Pass and Argentine Peak, and then coming south here. But then after that, there is very little, indicating that there's very few people traveling on this. And if this was actually the Continental Divide Trail, one would expect a lot more people to have traveled on it. So in summary, the data from the USGS shows a trail that does not really exist. And you can imagine with a situation like this could be quite dangerous. Someone actually hiking the Continental Divide National Scenic Trail could come to this point and assume that this is an alternate route and assume that it's probably not much more difficult than the other route and decide to take it and end up maybe with more than they bargained for.